The hunter had just placed his catch over the fire, patiently waiting for the meat to cook. Beside him, Dino had been staring at the food for several minutes. Every few seconds, he swallowed his saliva and moved a little closer to the flames, hoping dinner would somehow cook faster. For the two friends, cooking food over a fire felt completely normal. After all, fire provided warmth. It kept dangerous predators away. And perhaps, most importantly, it made dinner taste much better. But things hadn't always been this way. There was a time when no human had ever controlled a flame. No campfires, no cooked meat, no warmth during cold nights. So how did our ancestors first discover fire? To answer that question, we need to travel back to a world where fire was both terrifying and mysterious, and where one of humanity's greatest discoveries may have begun entirely by accident. Long before humans controlled fire, life was far more difficult than most people imagine. When the sun disappeared below the horizon, darkness took over the world. Night belonged to predators. Early humans had no lamps, no candles, and no protection against the dangers hiding in the dark. Food was another challenge. Everything had to be eaten raw. Raw meat was difficult to chew. Many plants were hard to digest, and harmful bacteria often made meals dangerous. Winter was even worse. Without warmth, cold nights became a fight for survival. Nature was unforgiving. Every day was difficult, and every night was terrifying. Yet humans possessed something unusual: curiosity. And that curiosity would eventually change everything. Millions of years ago, our ancestors probably witnessed one of nature's most terrifying events. Lightning struck the ground. Trees burst into flames. Smoke filled the air. Animals fled in every direction. To most creatures, fire meant only one thing: run. And early humans probably ran too. But once the danger had passed, some of them may have returned. What they found would change history forever. After the flames died down, they discovered something strange. Some animals had been cooked by the heat. The meat was softer. It was easier to chew, and it tasted different. Fire also brought warmth. It produced light, and predators seemed to avoid it. Little by little, humans began to understand that this terrifying force could also be useful. But there was one problem. They still had no idea how to create it. For thousands of years, humans probably depended on natural fires: lightning strikes, volcanoes, wildfires. Instead of creating fire, they learned how to preserve it. Burning branches and glowing embers became precious treasures. Losing the flame could mean losing warmth, safety, and cooked food. Entire groups may have spent days protecting a single fire from rain and wind, because once it disappeared, getting it back was far from easy. To understand just how important this discovery was, we need to look at the timeline of human history. The earliest members of the human family appeared roughly 2 to 3 million years ago, but evidence suggests that humans only began controlling fire around 1 million years ago. That means our ancestors spent more than half of their existence without mastering flames. Even after learning how to control fire, they still depended heavily on naturally occurring sources. The ability to create fire on demand came much later, and over hundreds of thousands of years, humans gradually found new uses for this remarkable tool. First came warmth and protection, then cooking. Later, fire helped humans expand into colder regions. Eventually, it made pottery possible, then metalworking, and much later, entire civilizations would rely on fire to build cities, power machines, and transform the world. Looking at human history as a whole, fire was not a single discovery. It was a journey that lasted hundreds of thousands of years, and perhaps one that is still continuing today. Something remarkable happened when humans gathered around the flames. For the first time, darkness no longer forced everyone to sleep immediately. People sat together, they shared food, they rested. Perhaps they told stories. Perhaps they taught their children. Perhaps they laughed. Some scientists believe that campfires played an important role in strengthening social bonds and may even have contributed to the development of language itself. Fire gave humans something they had rarely experienced before: time. Cooking changed food, and food changed humans. Cooked meat required less chewing. Cooked plants provided more energy. Digestion became easier. Over countless generations, these changes may have helped support the growth of larger brains. Some researchers believe that mastering fire played an important role in human evolution itself. In a way, fire didn't just change our lives, it changed us. At some point, humans achieved another breakthrough. Instead of waiting for lightning, they learned how to make fire themselves, by rubbing wood together, by striking certain stones, by creating sparks. No one knows exactly who discovered these methods. Their names have been lost to history, but their discovery changed the future forever. For the first time, humans no longer depended entirely on nature. They had gained control over warmth, control over darkness, and perhaps control over fear itself. Now, imagine a world without fire. No cooked meals, no metal tools, no pottery, no cities, no engines, no electricity, no rockets. Perhaps human civilization would never have existed. Perhaps we would still be struggling to survive in small groups. That tiny flame may have been one of the most important discoveries in the history of our species. Back in the prehistoric valley, the smell of roasted meat finally filled the air. The hunter carefully removed the food from the fire. Dino's patience instantly disappeared. He moved closer with wide eyes, eagerly waiting for dinner. For them, fire was simply part of everyday life. But behind every campfire, every candle, and every stove in our homes today lies a discovery that began long ago. A discovery made by curious creatures who dared to approach something that every other animal feared. And perhaps that's what truly makes humans unique. Not our strength, not our speed, but our endless desire to understand the unknown.